In this video, I'm going to share with you how we sold 8 new clients into our agency in the last 7 days. And I don't know if you can see it quite, but you can see this is a screenshot, 22nd of January, and there's 8 signed agreements there, and the last one being on the 29th of January. So I'm going to share with you what we've done to be able to sign that many clients so quickly. And the reason I want to share it with you today is so that you can ultimately do the same. And there's 3 key lessons that I've learned by growing so quickly that I want to share with you so that you can kind of take those lessons forward. And number 1 is all about understanding who your ideal clients are. And often we want to get straight into the exciting stuff, all the marketing, the sales, what we're going to say, but it all comes from a very good understanding of who our ideal clients are. Because if we don't know who they are, we don't know what they want, we don't know what they like, and we're not going to be able to speak to them as persuasively, as clearly as if we didn't know them. So what we do is we help marketing agencies, coaches, consultants, that sort of stuff to stop relying on referrals and word of mouth and install predictable client acquisition systems inside their business. So we understand what our clients want and need. So to put some meat on the bones and actually give you some tangible examples, we know that our clients, they want more sales calls. They rely solely on referrals, word of mouth, and they have no predictability around their sales call volume. They don't know how to get more sales calls, even though they want them. And so because we know that, we're able to really speak to them. And that brings me on to the second point. So the first one is all about understanding who your ideal clients are, so you understand what they want and you can just give them what they want. Point number 2 is about actually communicating with them. So the way that we signed all of those clients, all 8 of those clients, is through cold email. And a lot of people say, oh, cold email doesn't work, cold email is dead, it's saturated. It all depends how you do it. And the way that we do is we use personalization and we use video. And the reason that we use personalization is so that we can actually stand out in a very crowded inbox. And the reason we use video is because we have to be able to convey what we're trying to say in a slightly deeper way than a plain text email would allow. So what we actually do is we link personalization and video together. So we send personalized videos. We do it at scale. So we're not kind of like chained to our desk creating these videos. But what we want to use and the thing that we want to create through this video is a slightly deeper connection and allow the prospect to have a deeper understanding of what it is that we actually do and what it is that we actually offer. And only by going back to step 1, only by truly understanding who our ideal clients are, allows us to be able to say something in that email and in that video that's really compelling and allows us to generate sales calls. Now, you might think that in order to generate that volume of new clients, we must have generated a lot of sales calls. And we couldn't really be further from the truth. From that particular campaign, we didn't generate that many sales calls, but we did obviously generate a high volume of clients in a short space of time. And the reason we were able to do that is because of step 3. So just to recap, step one is all about understanding who your ideal clients are. Step two is about communicating with them in a slightly deeper way, a slightly kind of, let's call it long form way. And we did that through cold email. And step three is all about congruency. So ultimately making sure that what your clients want, what you say in your messaging, and what you say on the sales call are all exactly the same. So when I took the sales calls, we had a 90% close rate on those calls. And from cold email, that's pretty unheard of. But the reason being is because it helps that me as the business owner took those calls, and I don't always take those calls, but I did for a multitude of reasons that I won't bore you with. But so it helps that the business owner is taking the calls, but also the person that booked the call, they booked the call because of the video. And then the sales call is just reiterating what they saw in the video. So if they liked what they saw in the video and they had a human version telling them the exact same thing, and they already knew the price, they already knew everything about it, why wouldn't they join? So having a 90% close rate, I'm actually a little bit annoyed that it wasn't 100%, because the people that are coming onto the call, they're coming onto the call with a very high level of understanding about what the service is, how it works, how much it costs. Everything they need to know, they already know before the call takes place. And then the call is more of like a fact-finding mission. They're really just trying to make sure that what they've heard in the video is true and is like, it all checks out. And then I go from being a salesman on a sales call to more of an order taker, just somebody that basically reiterates the video, answers a couple of generic questions, and then basically takes their payment, signs them up. And that's how I was able to sign 8 clients in 7 days. And it really is that simple. If you understand your ideal clients at a very deep level, you basically give them what they want, and it allows your marketing to be very effective because you're saying the thing that they actually want. You're giving them the one thing that they want and need, and you're messaging them in a format that allows them to kind of build a slight relationship and get quite a lot of detail about said service. And then there is congruency throughout the entire process. So often people will optimize their marketing around sales calls. And there's some, in some instances, there's validity to that. But in my opinion, what I don't want to do is make my marketing say one thing to drive sales calls, and then my sales have to say something else to drive clients. Because if I'm sat taking time out of my day to take sales calls, I want to have a very high likelihood that the person I'm going to speak to is going to close. So what I'm doing is I am making sure that all the automated stuff that doesn't take up any of my time does all the heavy lifting for me. And you want to be optimizing your entire funnel around the throughput of that funnel, not just generating sales calls. And if you're not generating enough sales calls, generally it means that your marketing isn't good enough because you don't understand your clients enough and you're not giving them the thing that they actually want. And when you give them the thing that they actually want, everything becomes pretty darn easy. You can generate sales calls, you can generate clients, you can have a high close rate, and it can be a very frictionless sale. So that's how we were able to generate 8 sales calls in 7 days, by understanding our clients, delivering a message that was quite deep and allowed them to gain a good understanding of what we do, and then having congruency throughout the entire process. So hopefully you found that helpful. If you want to find out a little bit more about how we can help you, then click the link in the description, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.